Hello and welcome to this Arduboy Gave Them stream part 39. So just give me a second, I'm checking something. Alright, so today I'm not streaming because I have some streaming connection issues. But I will record and upload the replay. And I hope my streaming issue will solve by itself. Because yeah, usually I prefer to stream, but just in case someone passed by. Anyway, let's start with by showing you what I've done outside of the stream. So last time I told you I will review all the item and check the respawn for each item and make sure they are working. So yeah, I've done that, and then now I can show you the modification I've done. So just give me a second. Yeah, just here. All right, so the first thing I've fixed is I found another bug in the map manager. So I don't know if you remember, we have changed the way we compute the transition from one screen to another, where it is. And I used X and Y, and we used another Boolean variable, right? So it's here. So actually there was still a bug because I should also save and memorize this value during a checkpoint, right? So I just did that. The fix was simple. Here in the memorize checkpoint, I memorized the current value, and then I set it back here when we teleport with the previous value here. All right, so I noticed that bug when I was testing stuff, and when I reached the last level, the player was the level was going backward. So that's a simple fix. Then we have worked on the statuette. So the statuette actually needed more change, obviously. First I have renamed the sprite from statue to statuette. So that's just renaming. And then inside the statuette, so I have implementing the respawn, where I set back the alive flag, right, in the respawn state. And also here just return true when I'm pick up. So the statuette doesn't need to be called again. The update doesn't need to be called again. It can be removed. And that bug is I fixed it. I did the same fix in the 3 pickup, the bullet crate, dynamite crate, and the statuette. Okay. So that's what I've done in statuette. And in the map data, what I've done, in map data I just added more to statuette just to check that it was actually working. And here just rename this, just renaming, right? And but the biggest change also I've done is in the INRIC. So basically for the statuette, I need to memorize how many statuettes you collected when you reach a checkpoint. and then I should restore that value when you die and you go back to the checkpoint. So for example, let's say you have 3 statuettes to collect before reaching the first checkpoint, and you only collect 2, right? And then after the first checkpoint you collect 1 more, and let's say, okay, so when you respawn to the first checkpoint, I should set back the statuette count to 2. This is the 2 statuettes that you have collected so far. So yeah, that's why I have declared a variable for the statuette count at last checkpoint. And here, so in the checkpoint respawn function of Rick, so if I'm dead, then I will reset the statuette count with that value. And if I'm not dead, that means I reach a checkpoint, alive. Then that means I memorized the current statuette count, right? And also in the same time, I also reset the bullet count and dynamite count to the maximum. When you die and you go back to the last checkpoint, then you start again with the full bullet, full dynamite. So I don't want to memorize the bullet count and the dynamite count when you enter the checkpoint, because maybe you have overused your dynamite for some reason in the previous puzzle screen, and you really need a dynamite later to, for example, blow up a destroyable block or something like that. So that means if the player overuse it against enemy or whatever, then he may be just blocked. He cannot continue to progress. So and I think the original game was like that. If you die, you respawn with the full bullet, full dynamite. So that's a little help maybe. If we want to be more strict on the game design, we could also say that when you respawn, for every time you have a checkpoint, the game designer, the level designer could say you will respawn with that amount of bullet and that amount of dynamite to progress through the next checkpoint. That could be possible. Then that means here instead of just having the X and Y, we also would have the number of dynamite and the number of bullet for that specific checkpoint. But yeah, so far I decided let's be nice with the player, and we're just giving back the full amount of bullet and ammo when he respawn, right? But we cannot do it of course for the statuette, because the statuette is your score, kind of a score. So yeah. All right, so with this change, I think I have fixed the statuette respawn, and including the logic about the Rick, by the way. The next fix I've done is the bullet crate and the dynamite crate. So like I said, it's exactly the same change. I return through here, and in the respawn I set back the alive flag. That's the same here. All right, and then these two were working again. And then the next one is for dynamite and bullet. So for this one, it was maybe a little bit more complicated, because the bullet that Rick fire and the dynamite belongs to Rick, basically. The instance belongs to Rick. They are not in the map data, which means when we have a respawn, this should be the responsibility of Rick to handle this kind of respawn. So what I've done is in the checkpoint respawn, when I respawn, I kill all the dynamite and I kill all the bullet. Because what was happening is, for example, you place a dynamite, and you know dynamite takes time with the fuse to consume, etc. So you just place the dynamite and then you immediately die on a spike, for example. So you jump on a spike. So you place the dynamite, jump on a spike, then you respawn and your dynamite was still there. And if you respawn in the same level, let's say, if I do that in the third level, then yeah, you respawn and the dynamite was still alive and exploding. So of course, if I die, if I respawn, I should kill all the dynamite, kill all the flying bullet, and everything start again from zero, right? So that's why I added a kill function in the dynamite, and I also make this function public, the kill without sparks on the bullet. This function was already existing, but I just made it public, right? And this these two arrays belong to Rick, so you just iterate on it to kill this, right? So dynamite, so the header, we just have this function, and the kill function is basically move this code to that function. I just reset the frame ID to -1 and clear the property alive. Okay, and for the bullet, so the bullet, it's like just making this one public. That was enough. All right, and then on the map manager, another thing I've done on map manager is to reset the array to 0. So why I've done that is because I thought it was much more simple and just like having less code, because basically yeah, when you just teleport and respawn everything, you want to start with the empty array of item to update, and then the init will add again all the arrays. If I don't do that, that means what? That means in the kill of the dynamite, for example, the dynamite would have to unregister itself from the manager, maybe, because yeah, like I said, if you just respawn in the same screen, so for example, you die in the screen where the checkpoint is, okay, you place a dynamite, you die, and you respawn in the same screen, then if your dynamite didn't remove itself, it's still there, and it's not outside of the screen, so it's still there. And that function, remove all item outside the screen, would not remove the dynamite, because dynamite is still on screen. So of course the kill function would have just stopped the dynamite, but still the dynamite would be updated. So I thought, okay, just reset the array to 0, like we have done basically in the first respawn function that we wrote for the debug respawn function. That's exactly what I wrote at the beginning. Yeah, and I think it's much easier, much faster. Also for other items like the block fragment and everything like that, it's easier to clean and update. All right, then what else? I think that's it for dynamite and bullet. Yep. Then the next fix was the ArrowLauncher. So for the ArrowLauncher, just add the respawn step, and again start again with can launch arrow, and also kill my own arrows. So the ArrowLauncher have instantiated his own arrow. It only have one, and that's the same. You should kill it if it just respawn. And it should reset its time to can launch. So when you start again, the ArrowLauncher is immediately ready to fire arrow if needed. All right, then the next respawn logic was for a destroyable block, fragment, and stalagmite. Actually, for those I have done several iterations, I think, especially with the physics. So you may see some change. So what do we have? Yeah, the block fragment. I also add a kill function, and I just initialize with invalid ID, but this I change after, so forget it. And yeah, the kill function is the same. It's just basically stop the parabolic trajectory. And forget about the return value. I change it later. So the destroyable block, the header file, I just put is alive as an inline function. Maybe it doesn't change anything, but anyway. Here, in the respawn of the destroyable block, I also kill all my fragment. So I have my array of fragments that I call the fragment, and that's the same logic as Rick with his dynamite and bullet. Those fragments belongs to kind of, they are static, but they kind of belongs to the destroyable block. So yeah, if they respawn, they should kill all of them, just in case there is some flying fragment when we respawn. All right, and then so okay, I have created a directory for all destroyable in the project, and in the physics I started to do some refactoring, but I changed most of them. So I think you can forget it. I will explain in the next commit. I change it again. All right, so that was for destroyable block and fragment. Then yeah, next line is again refactoring again a little bit, still for the fragment and the block. So I remove that. I remove the kill also. I just initialize it here, which is the same, but I didn't want to have the physics, include the physics in the header file. Then okay, so I move the kill function and move it back to here, and as you guess, I have removed the kill here. So everything I just explained you, I change. Why I've done that is because in the map manager I decided to add reset all for the physics. So after clearing the arrays of all the items to update, I also clear the arrays of the physics. So you can see the reset all function. I just iterate through the two arrays and I set the invalid parameters. So that means these parameters becomes available again to be used by anyone. So I thought that way was probably smaller in terms of code, so a little bit more optimized, instead of going through all the items that use physics parameters, physics trajectory, and then every item call the stop, etc. Normally that's how you should implement the stuff to make it clean. Is yeah, the fragment should, if they respawn in the respawn function, they should say okay, stop the physics, etc., etc. So but here I thought that maybe I will write a lot of code here and there in many classes, and so I said okay, let's be more I would say more direct, more brutal, and in the physics it just erase everything. Yeah, I think it will make a smaller code and quite safe actually. So I also did the stalactite, so just initialize with the invalid ID. And here, all right, here I've also fix a bug. So before the respawn was in the respawn we were doing the stop fall, but actually we should not. We should do the stop fall when we have reached the ground, when the stalactite reached the ground and finished the explosion animation actually. So just before returning true, just before being removed from the update, I stopped the fall. I said to the physics manager, okay, I don't need to fall again. And before, that was a bug. Before, the stalactite was continuing to fall. Well, actually, it was not updated, which means this return true, it was not updated, but this parameter was still in use by the stalactite, which means I could only have, if I had, I don't know, 2 or 3 stalactites in the level, or 4, let's say 4 is the maximum. If all stalactites fall, then nobody can fall again. Even the enemies or whatever, they would be blocked, because all the stalactites use the one parameters and never release it. So yeah, that was really a bug here. The stop fall should be done here, just before doing that. I still want to have the stalactite falling when it exploding, so that's why I continue to fall even when I draw the explosion animation. So that's why I don't stop it here at the end, I just stop it here. All right, so yeah, I just moved that, and the rest of the respawn was okay, was working. Yeah, so stalactite, the big refactoring of the physics, and some refactoring of the block. All right. Then the next one was enemies, block fragment, physics again. Okay, so what I've done this time, I just removed this. You know, I told you I remove it, forget it. I wanted to return it. It's not used anymore because I have my reset all function, so I just remove that. And since I remove it from here, and all right, and from here. All right, so then what I've done in the enemy and item, so in item, I change a little bit the isProperty set from this to this. That means I want to end. I want to test the flag and have a hand instead of having a or. If you understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying basically is, if I give you a flag with 2-bit set and say isProperty set with 2-bit set, I want this function to tell me true if both bits are set. If both bits are set, then okay. If only one is set, then not okay. So basically you can rewrite it from here. So I could rewrite it from here because I've checked everywhere where isProperty set is called, and we never call it with 2-bit set. We always call it with 1-bit set, right? And here for the enemy, I wanted to call it with 2-bit set. So I could change it now because there was no impact on the rest of the code where this function was used. If there was impact on code, then maybe I would not change it, or maybe I would add a new function and keep that one and add a new one. But since nowhere I was using 2-bit at the same time, then I could change it. Right, so I use a new flag which is visible. So the bit 3 for this one. And I have kind of checked the respawn of the enemies and try to debug a little bit the enemies. So okay, that's the same for physics ID initialized with the invalid. And basically I use this isVisible flag, and only the enemy is using it right now. So what I'm doing is in the check lethal, which is the first update called, I just check if I am on screen. if the enemy is on screen. And if yes, then I set the is visible, and then I do the update. If not, I clear the property is visible. And then in the draw enemies, now I just check both flag. I should be alive and visible to draw. And here in the check static collision, I should check both alive and visible to check the collision. Otherwise, I do nothing. And the respawn logic was okay, was working. So why I was doing that? Because you may remember sometimes the enemy was falling through the collision when they were outside of the screen. And this happened when there is a transition between two screens. So when transitioning, the AI, like for example the Scorpion in first level, they are outside of the screen for a certain time, for a certain number of frames. So that means this and they are not just removed. The remove if they are outside of the frame of the outside of the screen is done when the transition is finished, right? You remember when we start a transition, we add all the item of the next screen. Then we do the transition, and when transition is finished, we remove all the entity which are outside of the screen, right? So there was possibility a moment where those enemies are outside of the screen, either because they were in the previous screen and then when moving they become outside, so that time they may fall, or just because you add them in the next level and the camera didn't reach them yet, and they may have fall before the camera arrived, right? So basically that was a bug that we have seen several times when we play. We had the enemies falling and stuff like that. So basically I thought, okay, what we should do is here when we check the static collision, we should probably not check the collision when we are outside of the screen. So this function is there, ground collision is calling the function of the map manager that check the map data, but only if the Y is outside of the screen actually. So if the X, so I thought at first maybe I can just modify that function in the map manager and check if both X, the two X are outside of the screen. Then I should also use the map, the level, instead of using the pixel on screen. I almost wrote it like that, but then I thought, what about the update also? Is it reasonable to, I mean, this may bring some issue. For example, if I transition the screen while the enemy is falling, is flying, is currently in mid-air, and a camera is transitioning, and then suddenly the AI is outside of the screen. So I don't know, that may be that can cause some trouble if I just check the map data. So, but that could work, of course. And also another consideration is if you add the enemy of the next screen and you start transitioning, what happens if you that means if you start updating those enemies, maybe you have a skeleton there, so that means the skeleton will start to move toward you outside of the screen, which is maybe a bit I don't know, a bit nasty to the player. So I thought maybe it's better to let the enemy do nothing when we are transitioning or when they are outside of the screen. So that means, yeah, if they are outside, they stop updating their logic, they stop updating their collision, etc. Well, that's the approach I choose. I'm not saying that's the best one because, okay, maybe it was cool before that. When AI goes of the screen, he still have his own life and is kind of still moving and come back. Uh, but yeah, that's the strategy I choose for now. Is like doing nothing if it's outside of the screen. Um, if we could still change it later. We know where the bug is. Okay, the bug is clearly here in the static collision. When it's outside of the screen, then this function return some crazy value. So if we want to fix the function in the map manager, we can do it later. But yeah, so far I decided to do it like that, like it's kind of freezing. It's freezing them. So it's not even updating their animation, so they are kind of freezed when they are outside of the screen. Not transitioning. As long as they are on screen, they are still moving, but as soon as they become outside of the screen, they just like freeze. All right, so that was the enemy update. Then the next change was another bug fix. So maybe you have noticed that the enemies were still colliding with the block, destroyable block, after I destroyed them. Well, that's quite easy. It's because of that function, is a static collision. I was not checking if the block was alive or not, so that was easy to fix. Before I was just checking if this was something with static collision. Now I get it, and if the sprite ID is a block, then I check if the block is alive or not, and that fixed the problem. That's an easy bug. Then another bug fix. The destroyable item that were destroyed when outside of the screen. So when we went, when the screen, when we scroll transition to another screen, then the destroyable block were destroyed. Why? So this time the bug was in the check lethal dynamite. This function was returning true when the block was outside of the screen. So that's quite easy. I just refactor a little bit like that. First I check y. If y is on screen, okay, I get x, and then okay, I merge these two loop because they are the same for loop. So let's just do one for loop, and then I check the x left and x right, and at this time I check if x left is inside of the screen, then I can get a pixel, and if x right is inside of screen, I can get a pixel. And then I have a proper function working even if x and y is outside of the screen. Right, then last modification I've done is optimization. I basically replace all the draw bitmap by draw bitmap extended. It's not that I necessarily want to have to draw all of them in mirror, and some just give false at the end. But the reason I do that is because then when compiling, we don't need the two function in memory, we just need one. So of course the extended version is doing a little bit more calculation, so we may lose some speed probably, but we gain quite a lot of progmem. I think it was like after I changed that, I gained like 440 or something like that, almost 500, I think. No, a bit less than 500 bytes. So that was quite nice actually to do it. So I tried, and then when I see, oh wow, 400, yeah, I keep it, and then I committed. Um, and then finally, I just update the readme. This one I just remove the return value because it's not needed, and I change the readme. I can show you the readme. Just let me check something first. I have many. Okay. Okay. Okay, so in the README, I have updated what we need to do. That give you some idea of what is remaining. So the map data compression, and we will work on the map data today. The main menu, we probably need a main menu. The game over screen, either with a winning or losing condition. Some sound effect, we'll try to do it. Like when we fire a bullet, when you jump, maybe place a dynamite fuzz, picking up an item, whatever. Some LED effects, we may do this when we pick up stuff, maybe. And maybe we have some save on the flash drive. I'm not sure about that. Progression, the time for speedrun, maybe. I don't know. Music on off, maybe, if there is music. Do we have music? Okay, so far this is what I have in mind in terms of code for the game. And after that, it will be, of course, a lot of level design and a lot of work on the editor. If I still have some space, I'm still interested in doing the rolling boulder, but we'll see that later. All right, so today we will work on the map data compression. And yep, I have worked on the map data. So here is the sprite. And I try to think about what we need. I try to think about the sprite, the ID that I need. Okay. And I reviewed the original game and how many sprites they have, how many different sprites they have. And actually, they don't have that many. No, they don't have that many. So, okay, so they have this stone block. I don't know how to call it, the square block. This one split in two, and this one plus this one, which make a 2-1. And this is exactly the same as what we have here with the 2, the split into the 1. And then we have this little one, which are more like a round stone. That is, this one is more the basic background, all right, that the feeling background of the game, of the level, and the square stone are more like the delimitation, if you wish. I don't know if you remember the original game, but it was a bit like that. Okay, the second one is the same, but it's for walking on top of it. So it's if you want to finish it with some floor. So this one is tiling. So it's you will see it can tile, and it can tile also in mirror, which is interesting. And this one is the floor. And this one are also with the floor, but with some kind of stair, if you want to make some stairs. And I do a left and a right one because I think about if we need some some mirror in the data, and I thought maybe not. Maybe I don't need the mirror stuff in the data. But I will come back later more about that. So we have our two destroyable block on top. Then we have a big head like this, and this one used for sprite. But actually, the one on the right are the same as this one, but in mirror. They are just mirrored. So we will only use two and draw these two in mirror. Right, so we only need two, and we have a small head also, and this is the platform and the ladder and platform. I change a bit. I'm not sure if it looks good. We'll see if it's better or not. I wanted to make the platform a bit lighter. We'll see. And actually, that's pretty whole. I mean, in the original game, there was also a big, huge column. But the problem is, in our game engine, I cannot right now. I cannot draw an enemy or rig in front of a column, so that would require maybe too much change in the game engine to do that. Especially because we use the frame buffer, the screen buffer to do some collision tests. So. And also, if you have a big wide column, if you draw a sprite in front of it, then it becomes invisible. Or you have to first draw a mask in black and then redraw the player rig in front of it, which may be possible for rig, and maybe we may do it later if we want to improve the rendering of the game. But if I want to do it also for the enemies, okay, that increased quite a lot, the number of a sprite also. So anyway, doing the column will just open so much change in the game engine that I say, forget about it. Let's finish the game the way it is, and we'll see later if we can improve it. Is I mean graphically, because basically this big column are just graphics improvement. They are not just they are not here for gameplay, right? So yeah, I didn't do it. All right. And then I thought, so should we have the mirror of the sprite? So looking at those, I thought maybe not. Maybe I don't really need it. For example, the mirror on the small statue is useless. On the ladder is mostly useless. On the platform, it is useless. On the big statue, it is useless because I mean I will draw one straight and one mirror, but always in that order, not just randomized. The destroyable block also, they cannot be mirrored. There's one in the right, one in the left. So actually not really. And memorizing the mirror flag, it's more data. So I thought, yeah, okay, just forget it. Then it will save some data and just keep them like that. So, and as you can see, I couldn't make it 16, actually even 15, because there's one free space, but there is the ArrowLauncher here, which I will come in a minute. So I thought, no, maybe I don't need the mirror flag in the data. However, to add some variety, I could add some mirror, but I could just random it. Just do a randomize of mirroring. Not for all of them, but for some of them. Like this one, this one can be randomized, this one, and it's this three can be, this one also. No, this one cannot, because they have the black line on the right, and I don't want to mirror that black line, because if I mirror it, then I may have some separation with two black lines, which will probably not look that great. We could test, but anyway. And if you mirror these two, then you can also create a long block. So anyway, some could be mirrored, but maybe not all of them, right? But then I thought, oh, but what do we do with the ArrowLauncher? Because the ArrowLauncher has to be mirrored, right? If it's on the left side or on the right side, we should mirror it, and that cannot be a random value. This is important. That comes from the data, okay? So I thought, should we do like the destroyable block? Like the map manager will ask the ArrowLauncher, like, okay, I have this specific ArrowLauncher statue to draw. I should search if there is an ArrowLauncher somewhere in the item to update, and if yes, find it, and then ask him, what is your direction? Are you left or right? And then I should mirror it. I thought that's maybe too much, a little bit too much code to do it like that, right? If we do it like the block. The draw function is already quite complex, so we have a special case with later, we have special case with the block, so now we can add a special case for the ArrowLauncher here. I thought, okay, maybe not. Maybe what we should do is to draw the statue inside the ArrowLauncher. Even if we don't want to have the arrow to fire, we can make the detection zone like null detection zone, and then the ArrowLauncher will not fire any arrow. So yeah, I thought it would be a bit smarter to do it that way. But if we do that, if we do it like that, we need to have a new update, a step for the item, which is update a draw static, because we need to do that before Rick is checking the collision. So after drawing those blocks, we should also have a step where we draw the static, and this is where this statue could update itself. Yeah, all right. But even if it draw itself, the statue should still have its own ID in the array, just like the destroyable block. Just for the AI, if the AI is checking the level data and not the pixel data on screen, that they could still detect the collision with the ArrowLauncher. All right, so let's do that. So first I will take this and copy it into a new file. All right, and by the way, it will be a smaller sprite. So that means we can remove the sprite from the sprite data if we put it at the end. So I will do that also. Okay, let's save it. ArrowLauncher face. well, we will work on that later. So let's so it's 4, right? Yep, 4, 4, 8. Yeah. So let's copy that in our data, sprite data. After rig, maybe dynamite, spark, spike, shiny, start red. Okay, here maybe. So we'll call it ArrowLauncher face. Okay, so I take this. So it's a 4x8. ArrowLauncher face, sprite width, and sprite height. All right, so and like I said, we should add a new step in the item, which is there's too many files open. After draw enemies, draw static collision item. So I will just call it draw static collision. After check, before check static collision. So here, yeah, and okay, and then we can, so of course that means I will update all the item one more step, but like we have seen, there is maybe maximum 10 items on the screen, so I think that would be reasonable. And then in the ArrowLauncher, we should draw something. So obviously in the draw static collision, we should draw the head. Maybe just don't need this. Okay, so it should be like it's called so many files open. Okay. So draw the statue that launch the arrow. Okay, so sprite data. So this is this height and this is the ArrowLauncher face. Okay, so X, Y face, the width, height in white, and the mirror flag, so that's the reason why I put it here, depends. I think it's we are checking the mirror flag to know in which direction. Yep. So it's property set for mirror. So shooting toward left, if it's mirror, yep. Here. All right, so that's the draw of a face. And now it should be drawn in the two direction. Okay, so now I need to reorganize the sprite. Can first check if that's compiling. Yes, it is. So I need to reorganize that. Okay, so obviously I don't need that sprite again, but I can keep it for now, but I don't need it. Let's put it here now. And I want to place it here. So here or here at the end, it doesn't really matter, because actually the last sprite later with the platform, we don't need it. We will just remove it because we draw the two. If you remember, we draw this and that in two different steps. That's the same for this head. We don't need it actually, but we need the index, the value. So like if I place it in 15, so I need that value. All right, so we'll move the head here just to do less change. And actually I also want to do some reorganization here. Let's do some because I want to randomize the mirror of some of the flag but not all. So yeah, what I can do is move those on top and maybe those after. Okay, so that's a lot of reorganization. Okay, so these two, I don't want them to be mirror. I could, of course, it's just for saving one test actually that I'm doing that. Okay, let's move this here. Okay, then I can place these two. Okay, I should have taken the margin like this. Okay. Then I will move the head. So the head is here. Place it here. Okay. And then I can move this one, the ladder and platform here. And then let's say I can move the statue at the end. Oops. Sorry. And so actually I don't need that statue, okay, because I will not draw it. So the reason why I put it into a different sprite is because it's only four char byte, 4 byte wide. So I don't need to, I can just delete this last two sprite in the sprite data. But let's just keep it for now. Okay, I fill the gap, even if it's useless. All right, and then after that, I will propose use maybe another refactoring about the block here, but I'm not totally sure. But anyway, let's try like this. Actually, now I can probably just cut it, because yeah, I don't need the rest. So this is kind of final sprite matrix for the level. Let's save it and let's update it. So it's 8 by 8. All right, copy this and put back in the sprite data. Okay, so it's half the size, of course. So like I said, the last two, we could just remove them because we will never draw them. And I will do that. It will save 16 bytes. But for now, I can leave it there, because every time I'm sure I will update and update again. So we have to reorganize a little bit this one based on our current order. So now we have block 16 right as the 0. Then we have round rock, I will say rock. Then we have rock ground. And then we have the stair, left stair. And we have the right stair. Then we have our block 8-8, then block 8-8 split. Then I deleted the 16 left because it's the same it's actually the same as the block 8.8. Then we have destroy. No, we have the statue. We have a little, the small statue. Yeah, I think I can call it statue because I renamed the statuette. So small statue, and then we have a destroyable block left and right. Then we have a big statue top, and then we have the big statue bottom. And then we have the platform, then the ladder, the platform with ladder, and then we have, okay, the statue top, but it should be ArrowLauncher. Okay. And nothing. Actually, okay, nothing is a problem for us. But we will see. We will see how we will handle that. Maybe we should leave there, and we should probably leave one space for nothing. Oh no, maybe not. Yes. I'll talk about that later. Okay. So keep it for now. All right, so that's the way we reorganize the stuff. Then our map data becomes totally wrong, unfortunately. But that's fine, I would say. Let's try it. We will have a random number. Yeah, we remove the left. So map data okay, replace left by this. So or later these numbers become wrong, of course. We will go through memory, but let's see. Doesn't matter so far. Yeah, we have a lot of empty stuff now. Okay. I'm surprised that we don't have more. Okay. So let's see the draw function now. Yes, because I need to change the update. Okay, so update, yes. So we will start from, okay, the first one. Was this one. Through platform. Then we go to platform. Then we draw later. Yep. Okay. Yeah, all right. Okay, so you start to see what the tiling of the round rock will looks like, a bit like this. And yeah, you can see next to Rick this the stair and the ground with the rock will looks like that. All right, so okay, maybe we can fix the ladder. Well, maybe not. It's not a big deal. And then the reason why I reorganized the block like that is because I want to do some random on the mirror, on the mirror X flag. But yeah, probably I need to fix the map data, even if it's still temporary data. So let's fix it. We have quite a lot of zero. That's fine, actually. Okay, the one before the one was the split. Yes, one. It becomes quite unreadable, but never mind. The zero was actually the 8x8. Well, that's quite a lot of zero actually. Oh yeah, there's a lot of zero. Let's fix the ladder. 2 and 3, I don't care. So the ladder was 29. So 29 was the platform. Platform, yeah. Let's, maybe I can do this, replace. '29 was platform in selection. Okay, and then the 31 was later, I think. Yeah. '31. And then we have the 30 to replace with later. All right, let's try that. So I don't have my platforms. Why? Now I have it. Okay, there's probably a bug somewhere in the draw. So let's see. I didn't change the order of platform and later, so it should work. Ah, this one. This one is not correct anymore. This, otherwise platform. Yeah, let me search for the 88 just to see if I use it somewhere else. Except in map data. Yeah, this one. I could just return that one, but that's the same. All right, let's try again. All right, so we have our level again. Okay, so now what I would like to do, so maybe we can commit this, I'm not sure. Let's check. Oh yeah, we didn't check that the ArrowLauncher is correctly drawn. We should test that, of course. Yeah, so basically the ArrowLauncher, I place it after the ladder, so that means this sprite will never be drawn by the draw function here. Will never be drawn by this function because we have a min and max, right? So the min and max test it here, and in our update we just draw from 0 to the ladder, then the ladder, then the platform. So we never draw the statue, which is this is the reason, one of the reason I put it after. Yeah. Okay, so move the drawing of the ArrowLauncher in the ArrowLauncher class in order to draw in mirror correctly. Update the wall sprite, reorder the sprite, yeah, and we add draw static collision update for that. So yeah, we changed the map data a little bit. And here our sprite data, and we added the ArrowLauncher face, and we reorder this and that. Okay, and we add this. Yeah, basically that's all. Okay, so let's check that we have our launcher correctly drawn before doing more change. I'm going to the map data, and I will add the ArrowLauncher here, and I will add another one in mirror, and this time we place it okay, this is the width, so it's okay. I forgot the other parameters. What is it? ArrowLauncher. Detecting width, flag, detection width and flag. Okay, there's only two. Yeah. Okay, the flag 0. Okay, you should have write none. It's more or less confusing. Okay, so ArrowLauncher 2, and we will add it also. And this we will place it on the other side, so maybe not the same height, maybe. Okay, and then this we can place like 80 and maybe 40. All right, let's try that. Okay, so doesn't work. Oh, I initialize. Yeah, sorry, my mistake. It was I initialized IL 2 times, so it's L2. Let's try again. All right, and this one is, the first one is too low. 9 and 52 is too low. Okay, let's do okay, so maybe the detection, maybe we need to rework a little bit the detection or the drawing, because it's too low compared to the position where I draw and when I yeah, I think it was the Y, the altitude is the where the arrow is launched. Let me check. So we check the trigger and fire with Y. Okay, so that means we need to draw it a bit higher. if we fire, if y is here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's 6 above. Or I can just add +6 in the fire. Would be much logical, because I draw every frame but I fire only a few frames. So alright, so +6. +6, and the y is used but here I also need the y for a trigger. Okay, so no, let's modify the drawing then, because I also need to check the y if it's on the line for sure. That's more logical to do it like that, I think. Draw static collision -6. Okay. So it's firing in the letters. It seems to fire in the wrong direction on the left. I'm not sure. It's in the later, so let's move it up. No, map data. So let's say for the first one 30, 36 maybe. And this one I want even higher, like 30. Okay. Yeah, it's hard, huh? I think it's impossible actually. Ooh, nice. But yeah, he's firing in the opposite direction. Why? So maybe we are facing another bug here. I guess we never tested with 2 ArrowLauncher, so we have our arrow here. Is it static? Looks like it's static, so no, it's not. It should not be. Okay. Arrow bullet, yeah, true, because it's an arrow. Okay, and it's when I fire, right, that I give the left or right. In the map data, is property set, mirror X, and map data. This is none, this is mirror X. Let's comment the second ArrowLauncher, even the declaration. My camera died. No. It's strange because it was working before. I don't think I break something. Except that, yeah, is property set mirror X. I changed the is property set, but it should did I really break the is property set? I don't think so. Property and flag equal flag. Yeah. No, I don't think it's. I think it's correct. Otherwise, it would be drawn in the opposite direction. So problem is not here. X plus detection width. This is false, so the fire should be, yeah, should be false. Does he collide with himself? Maybe, huh? Let's add, yeah, because before, yeah, because before I was, yes, that's that is colliding with itself. Before I was drawing, I was drawing the statue from the map, so at a very specific position, and now it's colliding with itself. So probably need 1 pixel on the left or on the right, depending if I'm firing on the left or on the right. Okay, so that the first the X and Y coordinate of the statue is the inside the mouth, like should be that pixels, this one here. So then the arrow will not collide with these pixels actually. All right, so let's do that. I need the flag. Okay, so draw x. So if shooting to the left means x let me think later, and this one is x minus 1. Okay, and this one should be if it's mirror and the x is here, I think it should be minus 3. Yeah. All right, let's try that. Yes, okay, that's working. Let's put back the other ArrowLauncher, mirror ArrowLauncher. Map data. And it works also. Okay. All right, so let's commit this fix. So we just adjust the position to avoid colliding with the arrow. Fix the ArrowLauncher to work properly in both directions. All right, so 1 hour 30 minutes. Okay, there's one last stuff I would like to do before before stopping the stream. It's to do a kind of random draw on the sprite. It's just one line of code, so let's try that. So in the map manager, and this is choose the mirror flag. So by default we will do false. Here, but then, and this is why I order the sprite like that. So if the sprite ID is less than left there, so the first 3 can be randomized. Yeah. Then forgot the random function. Let's check in the destroyable fragment. Random 2. Yep, just random. Okay, but obviously if you just do that, then every frame the sprite will move. We can try it. It should be fun to watch. So obviously I want some random, but I want a fixed random every frame, which means I need to seed the random. So you see they are flickering. That's normal. But I need to seed the random so that it's always the same, and we draw in the same order. So we always ask the same number of random. Okay, so we need to seed. And that's easy. We can just seed here. Should be easy. We seed it. We seed outside of the loop. That's fine. So I don't need that actually. And I forgot the function name for the seed. Let me check on the API. So it should be random seed. Okay. Okay, random seed. So I will seed with the number of the screen, puzzle screen ID. Forgot current screen puzzle ID. Yep, this one. Okay, let's try that. And doesn't work. I'm surprised. It should work. It should work because I set it with the ID, for example, I set it with 0. Maybe I should try with different value. Let's see the next screen. Ah! Let's remove the ArrowLauncher. These one are not moving, so I'm wondering if a random seed with 0 is doing something specific. Let's do a +1 just to see if that's the problem. Yeah, probably that's the, if you initialize random seed with 0, it's like maybe he's initializing with I don't know. Seems so, because now it's not flickering anymore. Do we have? Yeah, we have random. You can see, for example, cannot point out. Yeah, actually, I can point out because it's a camera. Let's try to do that. Never did that before. That's an innovation. I think I had some kind of. Maybe I can use that. Okay, here. Okay, so you can see here this one and this one are mirror. You can see that the gem, you can watch the rock inside of the gem. This one is bigger on the right, and here it's bigger on the left. So this one and this one are mirrored. I don't know which one is mirror actually. This one and this one are the same. This one and this one are the same. So yeah, I think it works. So the idea here is to initialize the random seed. Like they said, you use random seed to have a fixed number, pseudo random sequence that repeat exactly. Okay, you seed it, and basically I seed with the screen number. So every time I return to that screen, it will also not change. It won't change. It will stay the same. Initialize with the screen ID, and then I just, because I draw all of them in the same order, in the same sequence, so I will always have the same sequence of true or false, mirror or not mirror, every time. And I can, just by doing that, I can just add some variation for some sprite that can be mirror. That's why I wanted to place this sprite in that certain order, and all the sprite that can be mirror, that means this with the first 3 actually, I could place first, and if there is other that could be mirror, I could place them yes, just after. And then yeah, we can then just have some little bit of variation that will break the pattern with something that is very cheap, just like few lines of code here. Okay, so seed the random generator with the screen ID to always have the same sprite with the same mirror. mirror flag. Iterate on the sprite. Oh, maybe maybe the mirror flag will move. Yeah, probably it will move when during the transition. Ooh, let's try that, because when you transition, you don't draw the same number of sprites, so there won't be the same number of random asks. So some sprite may change orientation during the transition. Okay, okay, okay. Maybe that's a problem here. So you know what? We can do our own pseudo random generator based on the position of the sprite, so that we know it never change even if we scroll or if we transition, right? So so we will do the sprite X and Y is this one, sprite level X and sprite level Y. So if we just do, if we do plus, we may have a diagonal, but I want to do a modulo of that, but if we do that, we may have a diagonal. So maybe I should do a multiplication. Not sure. All right. Let's try that. I'm not sure it would be very visible to see the mirror changing during transition, but maybe it would be visible. Okay, I can still see some mirror and some not. So for example, this one and this one are in opposite direction. So maybe I should see a kind of operation that could give me some random stuff. Anyway, yeah, maybe that's okay. That will add some more variation, especially when we will have a kind of big area of sprite like this. It will add some variation to it. Okay, yeah, we can commit that, and that will be all for today. Just revert that one. Okay, so yeah, we just choose a mirror flag for some sprite, and here we just remove the ArrowLauncher. Okay, mirror randomly some sprite that can be mirror. All right, that's it. Thank you for watching this stream. Next time we will start to do optimization of the map data. Now that I have set up all the sprite I want, so I'm pretty happy with that. Yes, another thing I may think about doing is, now that we have the draw static collision step, maybe there's some kind of refactoring that we could do on the destroyable block. That will be maybe a little bit more optimized, and also just to free up one sprite. So why not? I could have another sprite. I'm not sure we'll do it. I will probably do it outside of the stream. I will test it. If it's good, then I will explain the little change. But basically, my idea is to draw the destroyable block inside the draw static collision step, instead of doing it here and checking if it's alive and just continue to avoid drawing it. It's a bit kind of, tricky. So yeah, maybe I will do that, and then after I do that, maybe outside of the stream, I can probably start working on the optimization of the map data and compact it to have a much bigger map level. Anyway, thanks for watching, and then I see you in the next stream. So bye bye.